Okay, welcome to the landmark 25th episode of the Paul Pate Podcast. I'm honored to have Jim Bretney on the show.
Yo.
How are you doing, Jim? Welcome.
Good. How are you, Paul? Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, welcome back. You're officially a friend of the show now.
Thank you.
You are a comic book publisher, and so that's where our interests cross paths. You're also all-around cool cat, handsome fella, might I add.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Pleasantly plump.
So you showed me a little bit earlier a beautiful edition of the Kursk.
Right here.
So if you're interested in a historical adaptation or a historical graphic novel about what's it about, Jim?
Well, it's about the submarine disaster that happened in Russia about 15 years ago. It's illustrated by Andrea Montano. You can see some of the illustrations right there. And it's a horror book. It's a thriller. It's got a supernatural element to it, and I know a lot of people that have read it like it.
Okay, so yeah, that's a great looking book right there, though. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to getting a copy.
Yep. I think we've discussed it. Maybe we can get you a copy of. I think we have 200 left, and it's going to be available on demand here pretty soon.
Awesome. And now, what else are you working on?
Well, we have Blaze of Glory, which is the Iraq War book.
Mm-hmm.
That's the story of James Mack, based on true story. It's about his adventures in Iraq, as much as Iraq can be an adventure.
Yeah.
I got a webcomic called Call Me Robbie. It's also a horror Iraq, a horror war book, which is kind of different.
Yeah, I took a look at that the other day and was a little. I was like, "Whoa, what am I getting into here? This is trippy, man."
Yeah, it's a little disturbing. Not recommended for our younger audiences.
But it was good.
Thank you.
Are you writing that, or you're writing it, right?
This as a story, it's finished, but I'm in the process of getting it illustrated. On the Ukrainian woman named Maria Nikolaeva is illustrating that. She's using watercolors to illustrate it.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Actually, I should bring that up on our screen if I can. No, it's not going to let me share the screen. How do we find that one? Call Me Robbie.
That's on Tapastic. So if you go on tapastic.com and then enter Call Me Robbie or
That's right.
look up War Horror, it's there too.
Yep. Yeah, just not safe for work.
Not safe for work. Depends on the kind of work, I guess.
Right. Okay, so there's the Call Me Robbie, and what about the Western? How's that going?
Western's still in process. We've got, but that's still available on Comixology, and it's also available on Tapastic. We've got Andrea Montano. She's doing a lot of our. It's a really long piece. So she's doing a lot of thumbnails for it. The thumbnails are not available for public view, but it is still something that's in process. It's just a question of getting it funded. That's all.
Okay. So what I think is cool is that you got a lot of stuff going on. I mean,
Well, thanks.
I think you're dedicated to this. You know, it can't be easy.
Well, no, it's not. I mean, you know it is better than any of us. But it's not easy to balance, work, and family.
Yeah. So, but that's kudos to you for being dedicated and, keeping it going, keeping the dream alive. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I think I showed you off camera, but this is the thing I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
It's also a piece that's set in Russia. I got my publisher reached out to Ignat Solzhenitsyn, who's the son of Alexander Solzhenitsyn, and we're tentatively adapting his book, The Gulag Archipelago, and I'm illustrating it myself. And
Wow.
it's kind of new for me. I don't know if it's going to meet professional standards, but I'm illustrating it.
Well, one thing is, I'll give you some advice.
Sure.
Just enjoy it, because you know there's always somebody better than you. You know,
Yeah.
half the time I look at art online and I just get jealous and get discouraged and I get bitter, and then I think, I love to draw, so why not get inspired by other people, and
Oh, it's
and
very
so,
relaxing for me.
oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. Oh, that's good. Sometimes it's relaxing for me. Sometimes some things are. Some things I get just frustrated because I want it to be as good as so and so, and of course I'm just me. So
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
but yeah, just enjoy it. Make sure it's fun. That's
Yeah.
my advice.
I'm gonna take your advice.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I love that. I mean, and I like those. I don't know much about Solzhenitsyn or far Eastern European history, So, but I love the letters, like the weird
The
letters.
the Cyrillic alphabet. Yeah, it's actually it's an adaptation of Greek letters.
Uh
Um, the alphabets are. I mean, that's a lot of that's where anthropology and history sort of like crossover, and there's not a lot of stuff we know about where the alphabets actually originated from, but or which one came first, the Latin or the Greek. I think the Greek is the one that came first, but
Oh, really?
yeah, the Russians I think adopted the lettering system right in the Dark Ages. I just tentatively want to say, and
Oh,
then
so they kind of, but then they counterfeited
yeah, they all sort of do. I mean, there's some words like shcha, which is which is like the Hebrew sh,
it. Mm-hmm.
and Greeks have another word for another letter for that, but shcha is a word that's only found in the Slavic languages. So
Ah,
it's kind of interesting. Not a lot of people have a general interest in that area because it's like a different world, but
right.
because it's a different world, I think a lot of people who or maybe want to escape the regular world, want to look at something that I think is a universal story of good and evil, of futurism. The Soviets always thought they had the hold of the future, so
Mm-hmm.
their futurism I think is appealing to a lot of people, especially people that like dystopian or post-apocalyptic realities. So
Uh huh.
hopefully that interests an audience.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure. I'm sure. Like I heard Keith Knight say, there's 7 billion people in the world, so all you got to do is find 1,000 of them. That'll give you like $75 a year,
that's true.
and you're set. And then you can keep doing this.
That's true. That's very true.
So in those terms, it seems like easy enough, right?
That's true. As a matter of fact, I was going through my backer list with my publisher. He found we had 71 backers for a Kickstarter that we did about 3 months ago, which raised the money for this book.
Mm-hmm.
And this book was about, I think, E100 Canadian, and then I don't know what that is in US. It used to be 1-to-1, now it's not. I think ours dollar is better than theirs. But a long story short is, they had 71 backers and they gave us about like $86. Obviously we had one guy who gave us 500,
Right.
but and then we had one most people that gave right around $20. So
Wow.
so like 70 of the 71, like most of them were from Rudolfo, the publisher, and then about a handful were from me. So finding more people that want to back the project and then to perpetuate it is really the challenge for the future.
Yeah. Yeah. It's but that's kind of the way things are done nowadays. It's such a micro markets. You just kind of hustle for that for those.
Right. Absolutely.
But,
Well, I mean, I think it's better than being dependent on, back in the old days where there's only like two people. There's two markets. There was Marvel and DC, and trying to get.
right. They're not going to be interested in a historical thing, unless it involves, the X-Men somehow.
Right. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now it's awesome today. It was back in the '90s. I've always drawn since I was a little kid, but I used to like to draw football players and cars and tanks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then in the early '90s, I had a roommate who had a big comic book collection, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. Why didn't I notice these before? This great stories, beautiful artwork, and I was like, I would love to do this. So I started looking into it a little bit, and it was like, here's what you do. You master your art, you practice, become really, really good, and you make like a 4 or 8 page spread of your best artwork take some Marvel, Spider-Man story or Hulk, and do like an 8 page demo of your work. And I thought I could spend, the rest of my life working on these 4 to 8 page spreads and never be good enough and never get anything. Or I could spend my time working on projects that I want to, I could just complete them. They may not be up to Marvel or DC standards, but they're completed. So it didn't take me long to figure that out, but then it took me many, many years to actually do that. But by the time that I did, it was, 10 years ago or so. Now you can do that and you can publish it and get it out to people. And it's there's nothing like connecting with people, it's pretty cool.
No, it's true.
When like a stranger buys your book and they're interested in it, to me that's really wild, like somebody you don't even know in Belgium or something,
Yeah.
buys a book and reads your story, that's really neat. And then connections like that nowadays, I mean, connected like you and I have connected over just because we like comic books,
Yeah, over social media of all things.
Yeah, so it's completely different now, but it's opened up, to everybody. But it comes with minuses as well.
You got to have a certain amount of faith to sort of move through this. I mean,
yeah.
Reality is that little nagging doubt in the back of your head, but yet I keep trudging forward because I believe that someday this will pay off. And, I'm sure that every successful artist has that same sort of cross to bear, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm sure. Even this on their way to success, I'm sure they deal with that. And then, from what I understand, even the most successful artists, still get nervous and have self-doubt. And
sure, yeah.
So, I say what I say is, I've been drawing ever since I was a kid, and I never was smart enough or had the sense to stop.
Well, I picked up a drinking problem, and then I started drawing, and I stopped drinking as much.
Oh,
so
really?
I got it's kept me out of prison and jail and fine.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, turn it into a
relationships as well. So
yeah, oh, cool. Yeah, that's all. I love that. That's great. Yeah. I love drawing, and I love like looking at your drawings. If ever you want to talk about drawing, just hit me up, man. I'm not on the podcast, but just if you want to if you're getting frustrated or whatever, it's not turning out right, let me know, man. I love drawing. Yeah. I love practicing it. And,
probably talk to you offline about why my characters' faces don't always match up.
yeah, we could do that. Talk about hands. Those are killer. I don't know.
Hands are always hard. Let's see. I had to draw this guy's hand, the guard's hand. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, there.
Not bad. Good.
And Solzhenitsyn's hand, which is tucked into his.
Yeah.
And I have the same, sort of problem that McFarlane has with proportions. You have to measure that with your pencil.
Yeah. Anytime you can have the same problems that McFarlane has, you're on track, man.
That is true. That is true.
That's cool. Yeah. Anytime you want to talk about that, years ago. I took a figure drawing class, and when I got done with that, we didn't even, it was the hands were just part of it. But when we got done with that, man, I felt like I really like the hand piece. I got over that. I figured it out after that figure drawing class. It was like no longer an issue for me. I mean, it still is. Sometimes I'll have a hand that just goes, and it's twice the size it should be. Because
Yeah.
But I just felt like I got a handle on it, so to speak.
Well, tell. I mean, you do a lot of promoting for other folks. I mean, tell what has Paul Pate got on next? I mean, you had this. You had some movie festivals and screenings, and
yeah, I had a couple film festivals. We took the train job to the East Lansing Film Festival and the Made in Michigan Film Festival. We won the best animated at the Made in Michigan Film Festival, and I just learned a lot, about the woman who put on the East Lansing Film Festival. She came up to me, and she's a really, really funny lady. We kind of hung out with a bunch of different people and talked after all the screenings, and at one point she walked by and she said, "And you need to edit, and then edit some more, and then edit again, and then when you start to bleed from editing, then you need to edit some more." So I was like, "Oh wow, okay." But she was very nice. I mean, she said, "I love your film." She enjoyed it, but she sees a ton of films, and so it was nice of her to give me some advice like that. And
well, let me ask you this: like, did you watch the faces of your audiences as they watched that?
Yeah, here's one thing at the Made in Michigan Film Festival. It was a little better organized in that they had one screen and lots of different films playing on that one screen in groups. So, there was a lot of people watching my film, and especially at that one. And the first thing that happened was me and my partner, Al Lawrence, we sat down and watched it. We were sitting next to each other in the theater, but I had like family members and friends there. And we're watching it, and I'm just like, oh, this is so bad. And him and I started getting the giggles,
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was people's reaction to it was fine. They didn't notice all the terrible editing and the terrible things that I noticed that I would do differently. They just enjoyed it, and so it was fun. I mean, it was great. And I took questions from the audience, after. Why did you choose to draw it that way? And I was like, that's the way I draw.
No, I mean, but it is a different style. I mean, it's a little different than the Rust City one. I mean, that style, it's very Sergio Leone. That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, well, cool, thanks. Yeah.
I mean, if Sergio was gonna make a cartoon, that's what I think it would look like. Long characters, big wide shots. The colors were very warm.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was going for. So.
I mean, what was that like taking questions from the audience? Sure.
Oh yeah, it was pretty wild. I mean, in one sense it's really fun. It's feeds your ego, but in another sense it's very embarrassing. Because I'm like, oh my God, this is film. It's just I could do so much better than this. But I mean, there were other filmmakers up there that I just spoke to that live action, great films, and super polished and professional, and they all feel the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know how that is.
I do. To a degree, I think you've had a little bit. I mean, I made more stuff, but I think when it comes to getting screened at a festival, and I mean, that's an accomplishment that I haven't really enjoyed. You have.
Have you tried much?
Not well. I've entered festivals and I would get the IMDb credit, but that's really the point that I would. That was my angle as far as getting them.
I got you.
But you know, it's. I mean, it's expensive to go to these things, and you know,
yeah,
there's costs involved. It's less expensive when the festival happens close to where you're at, but
that's what I did. You know, I entered the ones around here that I would like to attend, and like East Lansing, I went to school there, and so it was It was screened in one of my old classrooms. You know,
wow.
So at Michigan State, so that was really kind of neat. But yeah, so next I'm working on I've got too many things going now. I got actually a commercial that I need to finish, and then I'm working on a space story. Which
I think I lost you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you are. You there?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. You said you had a commercial that you had to finish?
Yeah, I need to finish that up for this tie or hat shop. I had 2 commercials that I did before, and we agreed to do 3, and so I need to finish it up. And then I got this epic space adventure with typical plot twists. You know, it's kind of like a Sergio Leone story in space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Better have some comedy in it.
Yeah.
Rusty had some comedy in it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, Bubba's my favorite character.
Oh, thanks. So, and then there's this. I did this video for this rap group, Counterclockwise.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that.
No, you got something to me. We posted on Facebook.
So Deacon and Kaya are this. He's a rapper and she's a singer, and they have a band called Counterclockwise, and they did a movie, like a feature-length animated movie, and that's kind of how I got into this animation. Was when I watched their movie online. It's called Counterclockwise in Foreverland, and it's just like this tripped out, crazy movie.
Yeah.
And it was animated by a guy named Jim Lujan. And so I just left them a comment on YouTube that said, "Hey, great movie." You know, I had insomnia one night and stayed up and watched it. And
never happens to me. I sleep like
So anyway, they wrote, both Deacon and Kaya and Jim, they all started interacting with me, and now ever since then, they've all 3 of them been a big part of my life. You know, they helped me on the train job, and so anyway, short story.
Do they voice on the train job too?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
Kaya is the main female lead on the train job. She's from the group Counterclockwise, and then Deacon put some music to it, and so anyway, they've got an idea for a pilot TV show that they want to pitch to, like, you know, I don't know, Adult Swim or, you know, the networks. I don't know but Deacon's really excited about it, and so I'm going to animate it, and I'm excited about it.
I've seen some of the stuff on Adult Swim. I'm sure it's a lot better than.
Yeah.
Holy man, dude! All right, let me share a story with you.
Yeah.
I was on Twitter. This chick follows me, and I was like, "Whoa, this chick's smoking hot." So I find out a little bit more about her. You know, that's what men do, anyway, or this creeper does. Anyway, so I talked to her, and she says, "Yeah, I'm a voice actress." So I checked out her material, and oh my goodness, this thing was dark.
Oh, really?
Like, you couldn't get any more darker than that. And I'm like, well, Paul, I've seen your material and I've seen what's on Adult Swim. I think you'd be fine. I'm just letting you know, man. They let that fly. I'm like, dude, if that was my network, somebody'd be fired.
Oh, really? Wow.
I mean, I was listening for her voice because, you know, obviously I want to connect the voice.
Oh, okay, because she had some stuff on Adult Swim.
She was one of the characters on there, but I couldn't finish it. I couldn't watch the rest of it because it was just so bad.
Well, shoot for the stars.
Well, you'll be fine, brother. You'll be fine.
So
Don't get
anyway.
Don't get skittery. Don't get wobbly.
Anyway, you better wrap it up, man.
Okay. Yeah. Please check out my material on luchacomics.com. I'm also on Amazon. I'm also on Comixology. And I'm also on Tapatastic. If you don't want to pay for any of your material, you just want to check out my material, you can find me on Tapastic, and then subscribe that way.
Cool. I'll put some links up on the site, and we can tweet it around the world. Get chicks to follow us.
Two married guys wanting chicks to follow us. That's a train job that's not going to end well. I'm just like,
Indeed. Yeah. All right, man. Good talking to you as always. I enjoy it.
Thank you, Paul. God bless.